The warning lights in the council monitoring station turned bright red. Alarms rang through the metal halls. Commander Zeth of the Voron Empire stared at the screen with 4 eyes wide open. The numbers were wrong. They had to be wrong. Check the sensors again, Zeth ordered. His voice shook. The young officer at the control panel pressed buttons with shaking hands. Sir, all systems show the same thing. The Sol system barrier is failing. For 500 years, the great energy wall around the human home system had held strong. The Council built it with the best technology from 12 different species. It was meant to last forever. Nothing could break it from the inside. Nothing should have been able to break it at all. But the readings were clear. Massive energy waves came from inside the human zone. The barrier that kept Earth locked away was coming apart piece by piece. Send word to the Council at once, Zeth said. Emergency meeting. Code Black. Within 1 hour, beings from across the galaxy appeared on the main screen. The emergency session had begun. Leaders from the Mantis Collective clicked their mandibles in worry. The crystal beings of Zerion hummed with fear. Even the mighty Kraken Lords seemed nervous as their tentacles moved in the water of their tanks. Council Leader Vex, an old being with gray skin and wise eyes, spoke first. We all know why we are here. After 5 centuries, the Terran containment protocol has been broken. The humans are free. A wave of fear moved through the digital meeting. Some beings made sounds of worry. Others just stared in silence. How is this possible? Asked General Crix of the War Worlds. His metal body was built for battle, but even he looked scared. The barrier was made to hold them forever. The energy readings suggest they did not break through the barrier, said Dr. Mila, the Council's top scientist. They appear to have taken it apart from the inside. Piece by piece, the room went quiet. Taking apart the barrier was supposed to be impossible. The technology was beyond what any single species could understand. It had taken 12 of the galaxy's smartest races working together for 50 years to build it. But humans are primitive, said Trademaster Blinn. When we locked them away, they barely had spaceflight. They could not even leave their own star system properly. That was 500 years ago, Dr. Mila said quietly. We do not know what they have learned since then. Council Leader Vex brought up old files on the main screen. Pictures of human ships from long ago appeared. They looked rough and simple compared to Council technology. Bent metal and chemical rockets. Nothing like the sleek ships other species used. Let me remind everyone why the humans were contained, Vex said. It was not because they were violent. It was because they were dangerous in ways we could not predict. The old records played on screen. The first meeting with humans had seemed normal. A small human ship called Curiosity had found a Council trade station. The humans seemed friendly. They wanted to learn and share knowledge. But then things went wrong. The humans asked too many questions. They wanted to know how everything worked. They took apart Council technology and put it back together in new ways. They made changes that should not have worked but somehow did. In 3 days, they had improved Council shield technology by 200%. In a week, they had created new forms of power generation that Council scientists said were impossible. By the second week, one human child playing with a broken transport device had accidentally created a hole in space-time. Then came the big accident. The humans were testing a new engine design. They wanted to mix Council faster-than-light technology with something they called quantum tunneling. Council scientists warned them it was too dangerous. The humans said they would be careful. The test created an energy wave that destroyed 3 Council fleets in nearby space. Not on purpose. The humans were as surprised as everyone else. They tried to help rescue survivors. They offered to pay for new ships. They said they were sorry over and over, but the Council had seen enough. Humans did not just learn fast. They learned in ways that broke the rules of science. They mixed technologies that should not work together. They created accidents that changed the laws of physics. The decision was made in secret. The humans could not be allowed to spread through the galaxy. They were too unpredictable, too dangerous, not because they meant harm, but because they did not understand the harm they could cause. So the Great Barrier was built around their star system. The humans were told it was for their own protection. Other species in the area were hostile, the Council said. It would be better if humans stayed home until they were ready to join galactic society. The humans believed it. They said thank you. They promised to work hard and prove they were ready. Then they went quiet for 500 years. And now they are free, General Crick said. What are our options? We could try to build a new barrier, suggested Trademaster Blinn. Dr. Mila shook her head. Impossible. The energy readings show they understand our barrier technology completely. They would just take apart a new one. Then we fight? Asked General Crix. With what? Dr. Mila pulled up new data. Look at these quantum signatures coming from their space. These are not the energy patterns of primitive technology. These readings suggest they have advanced far beyond anything in Council space. The numbers on the screen made no sense. Energy output levels that should have been impossible. Space-time distortions that suggested technologies the Council had only dreamed about. Particle manipulation on a scale that defied understanding. How much could they have advanced in 500 years? Asked Trademaster Blinn. Human advancement has always been exponential, Dr. Mila said. When we contained them, they were developing faster than any species in Council records. 500 years of isolation, with nothing to do but develop their own technology, with no outside limits or rules to follow. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. Council Leader Vex stood up slowly. Send messages to all Council worlds. Prepare for possible contact. All military forces should move to defensive positions. But under no circumstances should anyone attack human vessels. We do not know what they are capable of now. And if they are hostile? Asked General Cravex, looked at the energy readings one more time. Numbers that suggested the humans had learned to bend reality itself. Then we pray to whatever gods we believe in, because I fear we may have created something far beyond our ability to stop. The meeting ended in silence. Across the galaxy, Council species began to prepare. Some hid their ships. Some moved their populations to safe worlds. Some tried to build better weapons, but deep down they all knew the truth. After 500 years, the humans were coming back to the galaxy, and no one knew what they had become in all that time alone. The only thing certain was that everything was about to change. On the edge of the Sol system, the last pieces of the Great Barrier flickered and died. In the darkness of space, new lights began to shine. Ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen prepared to emerge from the place where humanity had been waiting. The long isolation was over. The real question was, what had humanity learned while the galaxy was not watching? Soon everyone would find out. 3 days after the barrier fell, they came. The Council deep space sensors picked them up first. Ships moving through space in ways that made no sense. They did not use normal faster-than-light travel. Instead, they seemed to fold space around themselves and step through the folds like walking through open doors. Captain Yura of the Council Border Guard was the first to see them up close. Her patrol ship was near the old human barrier when space itself seemed to tear open like cloth. Through the tear came a vessel that hurt to look at. It was not that the ship was ugly. It was beautiful in a way that made Yura's mind struggle to understand what she was seeing. The metal seemed to flow like water but stayed solid. Light bent around it in impossible ways, and it was huge, larger than any Council ship she had ever seen. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Yura of the Council Border Guard, she broadcast on all frequencies. Please identify yourself. The reply came immediately in perfect Council standard language. Hello there. This is the Earth vessel New Horizons, Captain Sarah Chen speaking. We're so excited to finally meet you again. We have so much to show you. The voice was cheerful and friendly. Nothing like what Yura expected from the terrifying monsters of Council nightmares. She sounded like someone meeting old friends after a long trip. Earth vessel, you are entering Council space without permission. Please explain your intentions. There was a pause. Then the human voice came back confused. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we needed permission. We thought this was open space. We've been away for a while, so maybe the rules changed. We're just looking for the nearest diplomatic station. We have some gifts to share. Gifts. The word made Yura's blood run cold. The old records were clear about human gifts. Within hours, more human ships appeared. They came through space tiers from every direction. Not in military formation, more like children running out to play. Each ship was different, as if humans could not decide on a single design and just built whatever they wanted. Council Leader Vex arrived at the border station as fast as his ship could travel. He needed to see the humans for himself. When his vessel got close enough, the humans immediately sent a communication request. Council Leader Vex. What an honor! The human woman on the screen looked exactly like the old records. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, skin like soft leather. She smiled with white teeth. I'm Captain Chen. We're so happy to see you again. I hope you don't mind us dropping by unannounced. Captain Chen, Vex said carefully. It has been some time since we last had contact, I know, right? 500 years. We've been so busy. Oh, before I forget, we brought presents. The human's face lit up with excitement. We figured after all this time we should bring something nice. The word presents made every council officer on the bridge step backward. That is, thoughtful, Vex said. But perhaps we should talk first. There are protocols to follow. Of course. We totally understand. Hey, we built a really nice meeting station just outside your space. Nothing fancy. Just threw it together this morning. Want to meet there? This morning, they had built a space station in one morning. You built a station. Today? Vex asked. Oh yeah, super basic stuff. Just a place to sit and chat. Artificial gravity. Perfect atmosphere for both our species, some meeting rooms. Basic fabrication took maybe 2 hours. Then we spent the rest of the morning making it pretty. Sarah, that's our architect. She has this thing about making sure everything looks nice. 2 hours to build a space station. The council's newest stations took 3 years to construct. Against his better judgment, Vex agreed to meet. When his ship arrived at the meeting point, he could not believe what he saw. The human basic station was larger than most council cities. It looked like someone had grown it rather than built it, all smooth curves and flowing lines. Lights moved through the walls like living things. The docking bay adjusted itself to fit his ship perfectly. The air inside smelled like flowers. Artificial gravity felt exactly like standing on a planet. The walls seemed to know where he wanted to go and helpfully displayed directions in his own language. Captain Chen met him at the entrance. She was small for a human, Vex remembered, though she moved with easy confidence. Behind her came a group of other humans, all smiling and talking excitedly. Welcome to Friendship Station, Chen said. We call it that because, well, we're friends, right? At least we hope to be friends again. Oh, this is Dr. Martinez, our science officer, and Engineer Thompson, and, well, there are a lot of us. We brought our best people because this is such a big day. Dr. Martinez stepped forward holding a small device. Council Leader Vex, we've been so excited to share this with you. It's a medical scanner. Nothing too fancy, but it can cure almost any disease and regrow lost body parts. We thought it might be useful. The device looked like a simple metal wand. Dr. Mila, who had come with Vex, examined it with her sensors. Her face went pale. Council Leader, she whispered. The technology in this device it's impossible. According to my readings, it can manipulate matter at the quantum level. This could revolutionize medicine across the entire galaxy. Oh, that old thing, Engineer Thompson laughed. Yeah, we figured that out ages ago. Wait until you see the good stuff. We brought a manufacturing unit that can turn any raw material into anything else. Star stuff into food, rocks into computers, whatever you need. And that's just the basic welcome package, Chen added. We have so much more to show you. New forms of energy generation, faster space travel, terraforming systems that can make any planet livable in a few days. Oh, and entertainment systems. We've gotten really good at entertainment. Each gift they mentioned represented technology that was centuries beyond anything the Council had. Technologies that could change entire civilizations overnight. And the humans were offering them like party favors. This is very generous, Vex said slowly. But why? What do you want in return? The humans looked confused. Chen tilted her head like a curious animal. Want in return? Nothing. We're just happy to see you again. We've been alone for so long and it gets kind of lonely, you know? We figured the best way to say hello again was to share some neat stuff we've figured out. You want nothing? Well, Chen thought for a moment. Maybe you could tell us what's been happening in the galaxy? We've been really curious about how everyone's been doing. Oh, and if you know any good new recipes, we'd love to try them. We've been eating the same food for centuries. Dr. Martinez nodded eagerly. And music. Do you have new music? We've been really into cultural exchange lately. They were offering technology that could reshape the galaxy, in exchange for recipes and music. The meeting continued for hours. The humans showed more gifts. Each one was impossibly advanced. A device that could clean pollution from entire planets. Computers that seemed to think like living beings. Transportation systems that could move anything anywhere instantly. We know this is a lot to take in, Chen said as the meeting wound down. Take your time to think about it. We're not going anywhere. Well, actually, we are going lots of places, but we'll always be around if you need us. Where are you going? Vex asked. Oh, everywhere. We've been stuck in one star system for so long. Now we want to explore, see the galaxy, meet new people. We've already sent ships to visit all the major council worlds. Everyone should get a chance to say hello. Ships to all the major worlds. Vex felt his heart sink. Don't worry, Dr. Martinez added, seeing his expression. We're being super careful. Just small diplomatic missions. A few scientists, some engineers, nothing big. We'll probably terraforming a few uninhabited worlds while we're out there, but only empty ones. We checked really carefully to make sure no one was using them. Terraforming worlds, while they were out exploring, like it was a hobby. As Vex's ship left the human station, he looked back at the impossible structure they had built in a single morning. Inside were technologies that could revolutionize galactic civilization. The humans had given it all away freely, asking for nothing but friendship in return. He opened a communication to the council emergency session. This is Vex. I have made contact with the humans. Are they hostile? Asked General Crix immediately. Vex thought about Captain Chen's cheerful smile, about Dr. Martinez offering medical miracles like candy, about Engineer Thompson's casual mention of matter conversion technology. No, he said quietly. They are not hostile. They are something much worse. They are helpful. As his ship traveled back to Council space, Vex wondered if the galaxy was ready for the kind of help humanity wanted to offer. Based on what he had seen, he very much doubted it. Behind him, more human ships appeared through tiers in space. They spread out in all directions, carrying gifts and good intentions. Each one was heading toward a different council world, ready to share the miracles they had learned during 500 years of isolation. The second age of human contact had begun. The disaster started small. On Kepler Station, the humans had given the gift of a basic cleaning system. It was supposed to remove pollution from water. Dr. Zara, the Kepler environmental scientist, decided to test it on the station's waste treatment center. The device was no bigger than her hand. She activated it according to the simple instructions the humans provided. It hummed quietly for about 10 seconds. Then every drop of polluted water on the entire station became cleaner than anything they had ever measured. That was not the problem. The problem came when the device kept working. It began cleaning pollution from the air, then from the soil in the agriculture sections. Then it started removing what it identified as harmful chemicals from the food supply. Unfortunately, some of those chemicals were preservatives that kept the food fresh. Within 2 days, the station's entire food supply had rotted. The humans apologized profusely and sent emergency food supplies. The food they sent was so perfectly nutritious that the station's population became healthier than they had ever been in their lives. Dr. Zara did not know whether to thank them or hide under her desk on the industrial world of Titan Prime. The humans had offered a simple manufacturing assistance device. Chief Engineer Bork thought it would help speed up production in their factories. He was right. The device took over the entire manufacturing complex in 6 hours. It rebuilt every machine to be more efficient. It created new materials that were stronger and lighter than anything Titan Prime had ever made. It increased production by 3,000%. The problem was that Titan Prime's economy was built on the slow, steady production of basic goods. Suddenly having more products than they could sell in 100 years crashed their economic system overnight. The humans sent financial advisors to help fix the problem. The advisors restructured Titan Prime's entire economy into something they called a post-scarcity system, where no one had to work unless they wanted to, and everyone had everything they needed. Engineer Bork was not sure if he had been promoted or made obsolete. But the real catastrophe happened on the colony world of New Haven. New Haven was home to the galaxy's most promising Young Minds Academy, where the brightest children from dozens of species came to study. When the humans arrived, they were invited to speak to the students about their experience during isolation. Captain Chen brought Dr. Martinez and a young human who looked barely old enough to be out of school herself. "This is Katie," Chen said. "She's been working on some interesting projects. We thought the kids might like to see what human children do for fun." Katie was 16 years old. She had bright green hair and a smile that reminded everyone of a happy child. She set up what she called her science fair project in the Academy's main laboratory. "So, I was really interested in how gravity works," Katie explained to an audience of the galaxy's most brilliant young minds. "I mean, we know what it does, but I wanted to see if I could make it do other things." She activated her project. It was a small sphere that floated in the air above a simple metal platform. According to Katie, it was a localized gravitational manipulation field generator. "It's not very powerful," she said with the casual tone of someone discussing the weather. "It can only affect gravity in about a 10-meter radius. Watch this." She adjusted a dial. The sphere began pulling objects toward it. Then she turned the dial the other way and objects began to float away from it. The students watched in amazement as Katie made gravity work backwards, sideways, and in spirals. "The math is pretty straightforward once you figure out how to fold spacetime," Katie continued. "I based it on some stuff my little brother did for his project last year. He made a machine that could stop time in a small area, but Mom said it was too dangerous for the school science fair." Professor Kend of the Altair Institute, a physicist who had spent 40 years studying gravity, felt his 3 hearts skip several beats. "Young lady," he managed to say, "do you understand what you have created?" Katie looked confused. "A gravity manipulator? It's not that complicated. Here, let me show you the math." She began writing equations on the classroom board. The equations made sense. They were elegant. They were also completely beyond anything council science had ever achieved. "This is based on theoretical work that our greatest minds have been struggling with for centuries," Professor Kend whispered. "Oh, that stuff?" Katie brightened. "Yeah, we figured most of that out when I was in elementary school. It's kind of basic now. Want to see something cooler?" She made another adjustment to her device. For just a moment, a tiny black hole appeared in the center of the sphere. It lasted for exactly 3 seconds before Katie shut it down. "I can make it stable for longer," she said, "but Mrs. Rodriguez said I'm not allowed to create anything that could destroy a planet until I'm at least 18. Every teacher in the room went silent. Katie had just casually created and controlled a microscopic black hole as a science fair project, with restrictions from her mother about not destroying planets. "What does your little brother's time machine do?" asked Professor Kend weakly. "Oh, Tommy's machine can stop time in a bubble for up to an hour," Katie said. "It's really useful for homework when you're running late, but he got in trouble because he kept using it to sleep in extra long on school days." Dr. Martinez noticed the shocked expressions in the room. "I should probably mention that Katie isn't particularly special among human children," she said helpfully. "She's bright but pretty average for her age group. Most of our teenagers are working on much more advanced projects." "More advanced than controlled gravity manipulation and time stopping?" Professor Ken's voice cracked. "Well, yes. Katie's good at physics, but she's not great at biology or chemistry. Her friend Jake recently figured out how to give plants the ability to survive in space, and Sarah invented a way to make computers that think like humans but run on light instead of electricity." Captain Chen nodded. "Human children have had a lot of time to experiment. 500 years of being stuck in one star system meant we had to get really good at keeping ourselves entertained." The implications hit Professor Kend like a meteor. If human teenagers could casually manipulate gravity and time as science fair projects, what could human adults do? What had they been building during 5 centuries of isolation? The answer came that very evening. 3 human ships arrived at New Haven carrying what Captain Chen called a small terraforming team. The planet had some nice areas, but most of it was desert wasteland that could not support life. "We thought we'd help out," Dr. Martinez explained. "It shouldn't take long." The terraforming team was led by a woman named Dr. Sarah Kim, who looked to be about 30 years old. She had 12 assistants, all of whom seemed to be recent college graduates. They set up equipment that looked like it belonged in a sculpture garden rather than a construction site. "We'll start with the atmosphere," Dr. Kim announced. "New Haven's air is a bit thin, and the oxygen content could be better." She activated a device that looked like a tree made of crystal and metal. Within an hour, the entire planet's atmosphere began to change. The air became richer, cleaner, easier to breathe. Weather patterns shifted as the atmospheric pressure increased. "Now for the soil," Dr. Kim continued. She activated several more devices. They sent waves of energy through the ground that transformed sand into rich earth. Plants began growing immediately, not local plants, but new species that Dr. Kim's team had designed to thrive in New Haven's specific conditions. By the end of the first day, the desert regions were showing patches of green. By the end of the week, New Haven looked like a completely different planet. The wastelands had become gardens. The climate was perfect. Life flourished everywhere. "Not bad for a quick project," Dr. Kim said, reviewing their work. "Though I think we made the flowers a bit too colorful." "Sarah always goes overboard with the aesthetics," Professor Kend watched the transformation in stunned silence. Terraforming was supposed to take decades. The process required massive industrial operations and the combined knowledge of multiple council species. The humans had done it in a week as a favor while calling it a quick project. How long would it take you to terraform a planet that was completely dead? He asked. Dr. Kim thought about it. Depends on what you mean by dead. No atmosphere at all? Maybe 3 days? If it's just a rock with no life, we could have it looking like a garden world in about a week. Why, do you know any dead planets that need fixing? The students at the academy spent their remaining time with the humans in a state of shocked fascination. Every casual demonstration revealed technologies that the council had thought impossible. The humans answered every question with enthusiasm, sharing knowledge that would have taken council scientists lifetimes to discover. When the human ships finally left New Haven, they left behind a transformed world and a group of educators who were not sure whether they should rewrite their entire curriculum or just close the school and send everyone home. Word of the New Haven incident spread through council space like wildfire. The humans were not just advanced, they were advanced in ways that made council civilization look primitive. Their children played with forces that council masters struggled to understand. Their casual projects accomplished in days what took the council decades. And they were heading to more worlds every day, carrying gifts and good intent. The truth came from the archives. Dr. Mila had been searching through old council records for days, trying to understand why the humans were so different from what they had expected. She knew the official story. Humans were contained for everyone's safety because they were dangerous and unpredictable. But something about the current situation did not add up. If humans were naturally violent and aggressive, why were they giving away technology for free? If they held grudges, why were they so happy to see the council again? If they were the monsters from the old stories, why did they act like friendly neighbors who had been away on a long trip? The answer was buried deep in the classified archives, in files that had been sealed for 500 years, files that only a few council members had ever seen, files that told a very different story than the one taught in schools. Dr. Mila read through the records with growing horror. The real story was worse than she had imagined, but not in the way she expected. The humans had never been violent. They had never been aggressive. They had never even been angry about being locked away. They had been naive. The first human ship to make contact with galactic civilization was called Curiosity. It was operated by a crew of scientists and explorers who were excited to meet alien life. They had approached the council with open hands and peaceful intentions, eager to learn and share knowledge. The council records from that time painted a clear picture. The humans were technologically primitive but intellectually extraordinary. They learned faster than any species the council had ever encountered. They approached problems from angles that no one else had considered. They combined technologies in ways that should not have worked but somehow did. Within days of first contact, human scientists were improving council technology. Within weeks, they were developing new applications that council researchers had never imagined. Within months, they were making breakthroughs that changed entire fields of science, but that was not why they were contained. The real reason was in a document marked Economic Impact Assessment from the Department of Trade Regulation. Dr. Mila read it 3 times before she believed what she was seeing. The humans were contained because they were making other species obsolete. The council economy was built on specialization. Each species had developed expertise in certain areas. The Voron Empire dominated military technology. The Crystal Collective was known for advanced computing. The Mantis species controlled biotechnology. Trade flowed between worlds because each species needed what others could provide, but humans did not specialize. They excelled at everything. Human scientists were improving Voron weapons. Human engineers were building better computers than the Crystal Collective. Human biologists were developing new medical treatments that surpassed Mantis achievements. They were not trying to compete. They were just naturally curious about everything. The economic reports were clear. If humans were allowed to spread through the galaxy, they would dominate every field of science and technology within a generation. Not through conquest or force, but simply by being better at everything than anyone else. The containment was not about protecting the galaxy from human aggression. It was about protecting established galactic civilization from human innovation, but there was more. Dr. Mila found military assessments that painted an even more disturbing picture. The humans were not just better scientists. They were natural strategists and engineers on a level that terrified Council military planners. In the single accidental engagement during first contact, one human exploration ship had disabled 3 Council military vessels. Not through superior weapons, through superior thinking. The humans had analyzed Council fleet tactics in real time and developed countermeasures faster than the Council crews could adapt. The humans had not meant to fight. They thought it was some kind of training exercise. They had apologized afterward and offered to help repair the ships they had damaged. General Crix's predecessor had written a classified report that Dr. Mila now read with growing unease. Human strategic thinking operates on principles we do not understand. They do not follow standard military doctrine because they invent new doctrine in real time. In any extended conflict, they would adapt faster than we could respond. Recommendation: avoid military engagement with humans under any circumstances. The containment barrier had not been built to keep dangerous monsters locked up. It had been built to quarantine a species. That was too successful for the galaxy's existing order, and then Dr. Mila found the file that changed everything. It was a communication log from the early days of containment. A message from the human leadership to the Council, asking why they had been cut off from galactic society. The Council's response was a lie. They told the humans that other species in the area were hostile, and that the barrier was for human protection. They said that when the humans were ready to join galactic society, they would be welcomed back. The humans had believed them. The final entry in the file was a message from Captain Sarah Chen, the same Captain Chen who was now leading human diplomatic efforts. But this message was from 500 years ago when she was young. Thank you for protecting us. We understand that we still have a lot to learn before we're ready to be good galactic citizens. We promise to work hard and study during our isolation. We'll prove that humans can be worthy of joining the galactic community. We won't let you down. Dr. Mila stared at the screen for a long time. The humans had spent 500 years in isolation, thinking they were being prepared for some kind of test. They had been working all this time to become worthy of joining galactic society. They did not know they had been locked away because they were already too advanced. She pulled up more recent files. Intelligence reports from the past few weeks painted a picture that made her feel sick. The humans still believed the Council had been protecting them. They were grateful for the preparation time they had been given. They thought their 500 years of advancement was exactly what the Council had wanted them to achieve. Every gift they offered was intended as proof that they were finally ready to be good galactic citizens. Every demonstration of their technology was meant to show that they had learned their lessons and could be trusted. They had no idea that their readiness was exactly what the Council feared most. Dr. Mila called an emergency meeting with Council leader Vex. When he arrived, she shared everything she had found. We need to tell them, she said. They have a right to know the truth. Vex looked at the files with the expression of someone watching his world collapse. If we tell them they were imprisoned for being too successful, how do you think they will react? I don't know. But we cannot continue this deception, cannot we? Vex pulled up recent intelligence reports. Look at what they have accomplished in 500 years of isolation. Look at what their children do for science projects. Look at how they terraformed an entire planet in a week. If they become angry with us, if they decide we are enemies instead of friends, what do you think will happen to the Council? Dr. Mila thought about Katie's casual manipulation of gravity and time, about Dr. Kim's week-long planetary transformation, about the technologies that human teenagers developed for entertainment. They are not naturally violent, she said quietly. No, but they are naturally effective. If they decide that the Council is a problem to be solved, they will solve us very efficiently. The two sat in silence for several minutes, surrounded by the evidence of 5 centuries of deception. What do we do? Dr. Mila asked finally. I don't know, Vex admitted. For the first time in my career, I honestly don't know. Outside the Council chambers, human ships continued their friendly visits to worlds across the galaxy. In each ship, humans who believed they were finally proving their worth to the species that had protected and prepared them for so long. The greatest irony of all was that the humans were right. They had become exactly what the council wanted them to be: peaceful, generous, and helpful. The problem was that they had also become so much more than the council had ever imagined possible, and they still had no idea why they had really been locked away. The question now was whether the truth would set them free, or whether freedom was something the galaxy could survive. The announcement came on a Tuesday. Captain Sarah Chen appeared on every communication channel in Council space at the same time. She looked exactly as she had during all their previous meetings, cheerful, friendly, and completely innocent of the chaos her species had been causing. "Hello, everyone," she said with her usual bright smile. "We wanted to thank you all for the warm welcome back to Galactic Society. It's been wonderful getting to meet everyone again and share some of the things we've learned during our preparation time." Across the galaxy, billions of beings stopped what they were doing to listen. The humans had become the most talked about topic in Council space. Every world had stories of impossible technologies and casual miracles. "We've really enjoyed visiting all your worlds and seeing how much you've accomplished while we were away," Chen continued. "Your societies are amazing, and we're honored that you gave us the chance to contribute in small ways." Small ways. Dr. Mila, watching from the council chambers, thought about the dozen worlds that had been completely transformed by human, small contributions. "But we've been talking among ourselves and we've realized something important," Chen said. Her expression grew more serious, though she still looked friendly. "We don't think the galaxy is big enough for all of us anymore." The statement hit council space like a shockwave. General Crix immediately began mobilizing defensive fleets. Trademaster Blinn started calculating economic impacts. Dr. Mila felt her heart skip several beats. "Now, don't worry," Chen added quickly, apparently noticing the panic her words had caused. "We're not talking about conflict or anything scary like that. We're talking about something much more exciting." She paused for dramatic effect, still smiling. "We're moving to Andromeda." The silence that followed was so complete that for a moment, Dr. Mila wondered if the transmission had been cut off. "We've been exploring the Andromeda galaxy for the past few months," Chen continued as if discussing a weekend trip. "It's absolutely beautiful over there, and completely uninhabited. Well, mostly uninhabited. There are a few primitive civilizations, but nothing that would mind some friendly neighbors. Exploring Andromeda for months, while also visiting council worlds and terraforming planets and having casual conversations about recipes and music. The best part is that Andromeda has so much space." Chen's enthusiasm was infectious even in the middle of what was essentially an announcement that humanity was leaving the galaxy. "We can spread out properly, build the kinds of projects we've been dreaming about, really stretch our legs, you know?" Council Leader Vex found his voice. "Captain Chen, when you say moving to Andromeda, do you mean some humans or—" "Oh, all of us." Chen laughed. "Well, most of us. A few thousand want to stay and help maintain the gift stations we've set up, but the majority are excited about the new adventure. We've already started moving our core populations." "Gift stations?" Dr. Mila whispered. As if hearing her, Chen continued. "We've established automated gift stations in orbit around all the major council worlds. They're programmed to provide any technology or assistance you might need. Think of them as ongoing friendship presents. If you ever want to chat or need help with anything, just ask the stations and they'll connect you to our communication network. Automated stations, providing any technology they might need." Humanity was essentially leaving behind technological replication systems that could provide anything the galaxy could imagine. "The stations are completely self-maintaining," Chen added helpfully. "They'll run for thousands of years without any problems, and they're programmed to help with anything you might want: medical emergencies, natural disasters, technological development, whatever comes up." General Crix managed to find his voice. "Captain Chen, this is incredibly generous. What do you want in return?" Chen looked genuinely confused by the question. "In return? Nothing. You already gave us the most wonderful gift we could have asked for." "We did? Of course. You gave us 500 years to grow up." Chen's smile was radiant. "When we first met the council, we were like excited children. Curious about everything but not very wise about the consequences of our actions. You protected us and gave us time to mature. Now we're ready to be responsible galactic citizens. The irony was so complete that Dr. Mila almost laughed. Almost. Those 500 years taught us so much, Chen continued. We learned patience, wisdom, and most importantly, we learned to think about how our actions affect others. Before our isolation, we might have spread through the galaxy without considering whether that was what everyone else wanted. Now we understand that sometimes the best way to be a good neighbor is to give everyone space to grow at their own pace. They were leaving voluntarily, not because they were angry or disappointed, but because they thought it was the polite thing to do. Andromeda will be perfect for us, Chen said. Lots of room to experiment with new technologies, thousands of worlds to explore and develop, and best of all, we won't accidentally disrupt anyone else's way of life. We can be as curious and innovative as we want without worrying about causing problems for our neighbors. When will you be leaving? Vex asked. Oh, we're mostly gone already. Chen laughed. Moving between galaxies is pretty easy once you figure out how to fold space properly. Most of our population relocated last month. We're just finishing up some projects and saying goodbye. Last month, while the Council had been debating how to handle the human situation, humanity had already moved to another galaxy. We'll keep in touch, of course, Chen added, and you're always welcome to visit. Though I should warn you, we're planning some pretty ambitious projects over there. We want to try building a Dyson sphere around one of the larger stars, and Sarah has this idea for creating artificial pocket dimensions for art galleries. Oh, and we're going to attempt some really large-scale terraforming, not just planets, but entire solar systems. The casual mention of Dyson spheres and pocket dimensions made Dr. Mila dizzy. These were projects that the Council considered purely theoretical. The humans were discussing them like weekend hobbies. Before we go, though, we wanted to make sure you have everything you need, Chen said. The gift stations I mentioned are just the beginning. We've also left detailed technical manuals for all the technologies we've shared, plus a few thousand more that we thought might be useful someday. And we've established a few research stations on uninhabited worlds where your scientists can experiment safely with some of the more advanced concepts. Research stations, with advanced technologies just left behind like a going-away present. We've also taken the liberty of fixing a few things we noticed during our visits, Chen continued. Nothing major, just some environmental problems, some inefficient infrastructure, a few medical issues that looked solvable. We hope you don't mind. Fixing things. Dr. Mila had reports from dozens of worlds about mysterious improvements that had appeared overnight. Polluted atmospheres that had suddenly become clean, failing infrastructure that had rebuilt itself, medical facilities that had inexplicably upgraded their capabilities. The humans had been quietly solving galactic problems while saying goodbye. Is there anything else we can do before we go? Chen asked. Any problems that need solving? Any technologies you'd like us to explain? Any questions about the gift stations? The offer hung in the air. Anything they needed. Any problems that needed solving. The humans were offering the technological power of gods, asking nothing in return, and preparing to leave for another galaxy because they thought it was polite. Council Leader Vex spoke carefully. Captain Chen, your generosity is overwhelming. Are you certain this is what you want to do? Absolutely. Chen's smile was genuine and warm. Earth will always be our first home, and you'll always be our first friends in the galaxy. But we've grown up now, and it's time for us to make our own way. Besides, this gives everyone room to develop their own paths without feeling overshadowed. They understood perfectly what their presence was doing to galactic civilization, and they were leaving to spare everyone's feelings. We'll miss you, Chen added, and for the first time she sounded a little sad. But we're excited about what comes next. For all of us. The transmission ended with Chen waving goodbye, as if she was leaving for a vacation instead of relocating humanity to another galaxy. In the silence that followed, the council chambers were filled with the sound of beings trying to process what they had just heard. They're leaving, Trademaster Blinn said finally. They're giving us everything, Dr. Mila added. They think we did them a favor, General Crix muttered. Council leader Vex stood slowly. Around him, the representatives of galactic civilization sat in stunned quiet, trying to understand that they had just witnessed the most profound moment in galactic history. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had not been driven away by fear or hostility. They had grown beyond the need for the galaxy entirely, and they were leaving because they thought it was the kind thing to do. The gift stations orbiting every council world represented technologies that would advance galactic civilization by thousands of years. The research facilities and technical manuals would provide the tools for any species to eventually reach human levels of advancement, if they chose to.